In the good old wheelhouse. What is it, June? It's been since November since we've been back. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming on in. Even if it's not live, we appreciate your presence. Now, I might sound a little different to most of you. Maybe even look a little different. Had all my teeth yanked out. I'm getting new ones. It's a long story. If you want to know about it, go to the other podcast and hear about it. Today, we have a special guest coming to us representing the great old state of North Carolina. We all know that song, right? We all grew up in the 90s, 2000s. I bring to you today our special guest, Miss... Wait, not yet. Not yet. I forgot how to do this. First, we got to bring you the intro. Welcome to Wheelchair Wednesday. Here we go. All right, y'all. Let's put our hands together for the one, the only Miss Terasa Knoll. What is going on, girl? How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. As you know, we do a lot of stuff going up into this. I mean, we always do it. It would not be a Wheelchair Wednesday if we didn't have technical difficulties. But thank you for sticking around and hanging out with us throughout the ordeal. I do enjoy the little prayer before a word. We should make that a thing. Do a little prayer. Make sure everything goes smoothly, you know?
Yeah, happy to pray anytime.
Awesome. So before we get into anything, why don't you go ahead and just get it off. You know, the first question we always get asked is, how did it happen? Like, oh, how'd that happen? How'd you end up in a wheelchair? Why don't you go ahead and answer that for me? Go ahead.
Diving. I dove off of a bridge into shallow water
Ouch.
at night. So it looked kind of deep, but it wasn't.
Are you a professional diver? Do you dive in like sports competitions or something? Were you?
I love water, so I swam in high school and all my life, really. And, you know, I usually just get to the end of the dock, especially like going like 100 feet out into the ocean, expecting like 100 feet deep of water underneath me. But I was on vacation in Florida and the water was unfortunately shallow. So,
Oh, man.
it just wasn't deep.
Well, you heard that, folks. If you go to Florida or any state for that matter, watch out for shallow docks. Don't swim off them. You know, I've heard other people. I got a buddy who went into a pool. You know, that happened to him. I got other people that were like same kind of story, jumping off a rock or something and ended up hitting shallows. Now, how long ago was that? I'm sorry.
9 years.
9 years. 9 years in. So you got some experience. And you're, what's your level of injury, you said?
I'm a C5, quadriplegic.
C5 quad. All right, so that's pretty much about what, neck area? I don't know exactly what. It gets real technical when you get into like the, you know, the bones or whatever. So being in a wheelchair for 9 years, and you know all about pet peeves. Like, what is your biggest pet peeve that you cannot stand about being in a wheelchair?
I don't really have a pet peeve about being in a wheelchair. Maybe I would just say like uneven roads or like a lot of bumps kind of stuff.
Yep.
But I haven't thought about that.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Now, here's a question that I almost forgot to put on the new list. I have a new list now. We've had the old list for over 2 years. We're going to be giving that away to somebody special soon. But this question is kind of serious, and it makes you think a little bit. If you could go back to the day of your injury and you could change it to where you would not get injured, but you would lose all the knowledge and all the stuff that you've gained so far, would you go back and change it, or would you stay where you're at now?
I would stay where I'm at right now.
Why is
but
that?
If you would have asked me at the beginning, I would have done anything to change it. I think like being injured for 9 years is a while, and like I said before, like your first couple of years are tough and you figure it out, and then you start learning like how, you know, your life is in a wheelchair, and then acceptance is a big thing. And I'm always praying for change or a miracle. I wouldn't lie. I would love a miracle. I would love God to get the glory for it.
Right.
But yeah, no, just acceptance. And then here I am. So I did learn a lot, met a lot of cool people, have done a lot of cool stuff. And I still want to continue to do good stuff. And it's going to come more like, I don't know, it's going to be better coming from me being uniquely able, disabled, and living in a wheelchair than it would if I was able-bodied again.
I understand. I feel you there. I get it. It is kind of more of a accomplishing thing when you're able to do so much from, with so little to work with. Sort of like that's kind of where I get what you're saying. Is that right? Kind of what you're saying?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, in a roundabout way. I have a weird way of thinking things. My brain works kind of weird. But no, I get it. It's I was the same way. My accident was 2019 in October, and yeah, right away I wanted to go back. I was just, everything was dark and gloomy, and I didn't realize it until later on that I had actually prayed for this. I prayed for change. I prayed for God to come into my life and to help me. And little did I know, this is what he meant by that. But, now what I do and what I've been doing, and like, I feel like it's starting to be worth it, but I feel like my work's never done though. I always have to do something to kind of help progress and, help other people. I enjoy helping people, but what can I possibly do besides a Wheelchair Wednesday or something like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, 1000%. Like, I think you're doing the best you can with what you got. And
right.
So, yeah.
For sure. Okay, next question is going to be, what is the biggest fear about being in a wheelchair?
Falling.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big fear.
Yeah, I think that's like number one on a lot of people's list, especially the higher up the injury.
Yeah, or getting hurt even more, breaking more bones or something like that.
Have you ever
a high injury?
Have you ever had any close calls or anything like that?
I've fallen a couple times. Like, I've fallen back in my manual chair without tippers, and I've broken a couple bones throughout the years and stuff. So it's already happened. And then I just, heal, get better, get stronger, stay resilient,
Right.
keep on living. Yeah.
I like it. Let's see. What about, this is a big question that we get a lot of times is dating or married. Like, is it hard to date? Is it hard to be with your spouse? Like, what is that like? Or is it hard to find somebody if, you're single and you're looking? What is your outlook on that?
My outlook on that is like, first has to come loving yourself and loving, just loving your life and knowing what you like. And dating is something I think about, but it's just working on myself is my top priority and my relationship with God. And if a good relationship comes, then of course I'm happy to welcome it and bless it, and that'll be good. But it's not something I think about. First, it's me and my self-love, my relationship with God and stuff.
Kind of going with the flow day by day. That's what I say, one day at a time. That's what my grandpa actually said, and that's kind of what I say after him. But it makes sense. Yeah, for sure.
Really open to it. Would love to be married. Yeah.
It's not like you're shying away to anybody, but you're also not putting it out there like, you're seeking it right now, and you're just kind of letting the cards fall where they will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about, especially guys, about going on dating sites and stuff. Do you ever do that?
No.
Nope, I wouldn't either. I don't blame you. Who knows what's on those dating sites, folks? Whew. What is something that you wish you could do now that you can no longer do?
Walk, swim. Well, I can still swim, and I guess I walk with assistance. So I don't know. I guess get out of bed when I'm by myself or alone. I wish I could just get up and get out of bed and like go do something, grab a snack from the fridge, or walk outside or something.
Yeah, I feel you there. I remember like getting up, especially like in the early morning, and going to the refrigerator and getting something to drink real quick, and like kind of enjoying the spring air coming through the window, and just like yeah, just enjoying that time. One thing I miss doing is actually getting out and being able to like stand in the grass and like kind of be grounded. You know, I don't
Yeah.
know. I think can still do that, but I don't know. It's not the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
Um, Let me see what else we got here. If you could fix one thing about your paralyzed body, what would it be? Like if you could fix your bladder or like fix.
I would want movement again. I'd want to fix just the whole entire thing, I guess.
All right, you're like, just whip it up. Just fix me up. Do what
Yeah.
you got to do. What about the old Elon Musk and his chip? Would you ever do that?
No.
No? I'm with you. I don't think I'd want computers taking over my body either. Um, so let's see about any pain. What's your pain level like?
Mm. I don't like to bring a lot of energy to it, but yeah, I have chronic pain
Whereabouts?
throughout my whole entire body and my joints. I live in Colorado, so we have like barometric pressure. So if the weather changes or it's a really cold winter, my pain increases. But you know, when it's warmer and the sun's shining and I can get out in water, it feels a lot better and I can get out and do more stuff. But I'm lucky enough to go to a nonprofit center called the Channis Center, and we do acupuncture, massage, chiropractic services that I get like once a week. So it really helps maintain it. But yeah, when my joints hurt, my body hurts. I have a lot of muscle spasms and stuff like that, and I've been dealing with that since day one.
Right. Yeah, I feel like I don't have the muscle spasms as much, but the chronic pain, especially in the point of injury, is something that I deal with in a lot of people, like that's in auto accidents and stuff like that. Or hardware. Do you have hardware at all?
Yeah, they did hardware on my neck like the day of the accident.
That's probably always a point of pain, I'm guessing, too.
Oh yeah, if it's cold, I have to have like a warm neck warmer or wear a scarf or something like that. If I get my neck cage gets cold, I'm in so much pain.
Oh, man, I can imagine. Um, what about what helped you the most after your injury? So after you got injured, what was like the biggest thing that kind of helped you?
I would say the Chandler Center for Health, the place where I go to for integrative health therapy like massage, chiropractic, and acupuncture, and going to rehab at Craig Hospital in Colorado. That helped me a lot. I learned how to live independently.
Nice. Yeah, we have a place like that called Mary Free Bed here in Michigan. That's actually really good. So yeah, I think that's important, and it kind of a lot of people they don't live by that resource to have that, so they have to travel long distances, which it does suck, but it's good to have something like that you can go to, and I think more should be made. They should have one at least within a 50-mile radius of every state. You know what I mean, at hospitals or whatever.
Hmm.
What about traveling? Do you like
I love
traveling?
to travel. Love it. It's my absolute favorite thing to do. Like I said, I've been traveling since like year one of my injury because I started off with my injury in Florida, and then I went back to North Carolina with my family and I did rehab there for 1 year. And I found that the best place for me was a nursing home, and I lived there for 1 year until I wanted more therapy and I wanted to just get better, and that was just my goal. So I moved to Colorado and I went to Craig Hospital a year after my injury and relearned a lot of stuff about spinal cord injury. I was just surviving my first year, and then I started thriving my second year, learning how to become independent, learning what my goals were going to be, and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm from North Carolina, but I live in Colorado now.
Right. Yeah, I think everybody for the first year is more or less just kind of like acceptance and survival, like you said, and kind of because that old person that you was is no longer there. Now you got to learn how to live with this new person, this new body or whatever. Same person, new body. I like to look at it like that. But yeah, it's good to say, your second year, how you said you got out and you went out and you actively searched that out, right? Or did somebody say, hey, go here?
Well, I knew about it, and I was lucky enough to have a friend, and his mom was a nurse, and so she was a big advocate for me to come out here and um, move out there with them. And from there, I went to Craig Hospital. So
Oh, okay.
she prayed for me all the time, and I told her I was in North Carolina, but I would love to go to Craig Hospital because I knew about that as being like a really good spinal cord and brain injury hospital, and so I really just wanted to keep therapy going. So again, that was my number one goal. I was just like, all right, I want to keep getting better. I want to keep getting better.
Right. Heck yeah, that's a good drive. Um, what about hobbies? We were talking about it before. You said like you love to do travel, but you also love to do like swimming still. What else do you do for hobbies?
Love swimming, meditation, prayer, to stay grounded, and then I just like to let like life guide me and go with the flow. And I like to go to nursing homes and bring people out into the community, to the gardens, go see movies, stuff like that. Those are some of the things I like to do. I like to be in the sun. I like to go to the beach. Um, I mean, I'm still the same person. I'm just in a wheelchair, so I have to, you know, adapt and figure out how to do all the things that I like to do before.
Right.
So my hobbies still are the same. I like to go out and do stuff and go on strolls in my wheelchair out in nature and stuff. Feels good.
Yeah, you mentioned sun, and I do love it because you go out in the heat and the vitamin D you get from it. I don't know. It's something about it. It just makes you feel good all around, especially being in a wheelchair. And like you said, when it's cold, you really feel it. But when it's hot, it like kind of eases your pain a little, I feel like.
It does. I don't know anyone with a spinal cord injury that doesn't love sunshine.
Right. Couple more questions for you here, and then we're all going to wrap it up here. Now, fitness and diet, what do you do for that?
There is an adaptive gym at Craig, and I have physical therapy. Diet, I'm mostly vegetarian, and but I mean, if I'm craving something, I'll eat it. Mostly just, yeah, just
Nice.
that's it.
Yeah, I think they always talk about keeping healthy while you're in a wheelchair, especially because our vascular system is not the same no more. It's slowed down. Anything to kind of get your blood pumping a little bit. I found it's kind of hard to get actually get a sweat going, unless I eat food for some reason. I eat food and I'll sweat. Like it's weird. I don't know what it is. I don't think I want to go to the hospital and have them put things on me though to figure it out. I think it's just one of those things. SCI thing, I guess. I don't know. Hold on. So diet, you said you're a vegetarian. What's that mean? You eat like prepared meals?
No, I make my own food. But
You said you grow stuff. Do you grow it? Do you grow your own like vegetables and stuff?
No, I still buy it from the grocery store, but I make my own food. Like for example, like I really like spaghetti squash or mushrooms or beans and rice and stuff like that.
Nice.
Quesadillas, cheese quesadillas.
Right.
Stuff like that.
I hear you there. That's one thing I need to work on too. I think a lot of people that I know, we always say that we're gonna get healthier, we're gonna eat better, and then it's like, what's going on? But yeah, that's one thing that I think we should all kind of strive for is to stay healthy, as much as you can, even if it is getting one green a day or something like that. Type of chair. You said you have a F5. Is a standing chair?
Parent mobile, yep. It stands, reclines, like raises higher, lower, all the bells and whistles.
Do you have a name for it?
No, but she's a girl.
She's a girl. Okay, well, you got to start there. I named mine Johnny 5. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Short Circuit. It's like a robot that comes to life. I thought that was funny. I had a little license plate put on the back. Yeah, definitely. I tell everybody, give yourself a personality as well as your chair. Make your chair something cool for the kids to look at,
I love that. Yeah, mine has flowers on the end of it. So the first time I remember, like, I didn't want to pick out a wheelchair. Like, that was something I never thought I'd have to do in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really really happy about it. But then 5 years, you get another chair, and so I was a little bit more excited. So
Right.
yeah, and then I kind of made it my own, made it comfortable for me, and all that stuff. So yeah, she doesn't have a name, but she's a girl. I guess I would call her Lily.
Lily, I like it. Sorry, I hit two things there, and it wasn't supposed to happen that way, but it happened. No big deal. Anyway, last thing I got for you here is, what would be your best piece of advice for somebody who's just brand new, watching this in the hospital, that just got newly injured? What would be your best advice for that person?
It gets better.
It gets better. Short and sweet and simple.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, we're gonna do that and that. Thank you for that. That was beautiful. It gets better. I almost want to get a T-shirt that says that. It gets better. It gets better. And then maybe have, I don't know, maybe even put a cross on it. I don't know.
Yeah, with God, it does get better. Yeah, walking with Him.
Yeah, you definitely have to. Once you get into it, you'll have your own relationship. I tell people, you don't necessarily have to go to church every Sunday to have a relationship with God.
Yeah, it's in your heart. It's within.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, I tell you what. Thank you, Terasa, for coming around and doing an interview with us. We appreciate your time here.
Of course. Happy to help and happy to do this. It was fun.
Right. I know. It's my first time coming back since what, November, and everybody's like, man, who cares if you don't got teeth right now? Just do it. So here we are. We're doing it.
Give yourself a round of applause just for
I'm gonna do that.
back.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Absolutely. Okay, well, stick with us, Terasa. Don't leave just yet. Everybody else, we will see you next Wednesday, hopefully, for another Wheelchair Wednesday with good old Toothless Wheelchair Rick in the building. Until then, make sure you subscribe, like. Eventually, I'm going to have something cool here, like a tagline to say at the end of every one of these. I've done over 100, but hey, we'll get one next time. See you next time here on Wheelchair Wednesday. Peace.